From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Alina Hauter. We'll get to those stories in just a bit, but first, if you traveled on I-90 West this morning, you know it was a mess. According to Montana Highway Patrol, a truck pulling a camper lost control and hit a guardrail 2 miles west of the Zoo Drive exit. This happened around 8:15 this morning, shutting down the interstate until around 3 p.m. Traffic had to be rerouted to Frontage Road. There were no injuries, but lots to clean up. Friends and family of deceased Laurel woman Cassie McCauley gathered at Craft Local in downtown Billings to celebrate the 28-year-old's life. Cassie was reported missing for about a week before her mother found her body near the tracks near Old Highway 10 East and Seats Ronan Road in Laurel on February 4th. Her family says she was fleeing a domestic violence situation on January 31st when she was killed while walking in a hit and run. The memorial service was held from 2 to 4 p.m., accompanied by Cassie's ashes as well as a box for loved ones to write notes for Cassie to be buried with. Cassie leaves behind an 8-year-old daughter. About 200 miles west of Laurel, one Helena family is still reeling from the disappearance of their 23-year-old daughter, Shannon LeBeau. She vanished on February 23, 1999. It's a cold case the family is looking to the community for help with. MTN's Ali Kaiser and Marian Davidson explain in this MTN Exclusive.
What happened to Shannon LeBeau? It's a question that has remained unanswered for more than 2 decades. Tonight, we take you inside the case, hear from the lead investigator and 2 people close to LeBeau who have never spoken to the media before. It's a story you'll only see here on MTN, and maybe you have that missing piece that can finally close this case.
Shannon LeBeau was last seen here on February 23, 1999, and his disappearance has haunted those close to him and his case every day for more than 25 years since.
I just would always have that hope that one day I'd wake up and he'd be knocking at my door because he survived whatever happened and he found me.
You literally get jealous seeing other people get closure and you don't get it. And we've never had it.
LeBeau was 23, the second youngest of 7 kids, and a young father at the time of his disappearance.
He loved. He loved Jaden so much. Some of the sweetest times with him is with her.
He also loved fixing up old muscle cars. That's what he was on his way to do the day of his disappearance.
According to the investigation, LeBeau's friend, Steve Rummel, told him about a rancher selling a muscle car in Townsend.
Rummel went to pick him up at his residence on Villard, and then they had gone to the credit union up on Lindale and got his money and left town. Now, that was the last time that anybody saw Shannon alive.
Drysdale investigated this case for 12 years, and 10 years after his retirement, he still thinks about it.
I don't think it'll ever leave me. This case, I put a lot of time and effort into it.
Time and effort documented meticulously in 3 binders, just like this one. Drysdale started by trying to track down the rancher in Townsend selling the muscle car. It's a story he could never verify.
I was not able to find a rancher or anything, or even an ad of somebody wanting to sell a vehicle down there.
He logged hours of travel following up on tips, driving to the far edges of Montana, even going to Kentucky to talk with people who might have information. After years of work, searches, countless interviews, Drysdale is pretty sure he knows what happened and who did it.
Oh yeah, his name comes up a lot. But without any evidence, I have nothing to act on. I have plenty of circumstantial evidence.
And Drysdale is pretty sure those who made LeBeau disappear are still here in the Helena area.
I'll say it right now. Yes, I think there is 1, maybe 2 murderers.
It's a thought constantly in the minds of Shannon's loved ones.
Scary. Don't know if I'm ever going to run into him.
The family and investigators are still waiting on that one tip that could close this case.
And they believe that there are people in the community that have that information that they have needed for the past 25 years.
That's all we wanted, is just to know.
LeBeau has now been gone for more years than he was alive. His mother, Sally, died in 2007, not knowing what happened to him. His daughter has children of her own.
I've had 2 kids. I've had so many milestones. I've gotten married, just all the big and little things that I kind of live on, the grief of what my dad could have been.
After all this time, Drysdale believes the answers and LeBue's remains are still out there, waiting to be found and brought home.
It's time for somebody to cowboy up, as they say in Montana, and talk to somebody about it.
It's been 25 years, so just to have answers, that's all we want.
This is where you come in, where you could bring an end to more than 25 years of searching. If you know anything, have heard anything, even something you think is small, report it. You can call the Helena Police Department or report anonymously through Crime Stoppers. In Helena, Ali Kaiser and Marion Davidson, MTN News.
The Montana Attorney General announced that Montana law enforcement officers seized more than 2 times the amount of fentanyl in 2023 than in the previous year. According to the AG's office, more than 398,000 doses of the powder synthetic opioid were seized in Montana last year. That is a 111% increase from 2022 and a 600% increase from 2021. The data is compiled from 6 Rock Mountain High Intensified Drug Trafficking Area Task Forces. The AG's office adds that there were 80 fentanyl-linked deaths in 2023. However, that number is likely underreported as it only includes deaths in which an autopsy was completed. Fentanyl isn't the only drug that is seeing an increase in seizures. The Montana Department of Justice also reported increased seizures of cocaine and methamphetamine.
And good Saturday evening, everyone. Late afternoon, early evening, still lots of sunshine outside right now. And speaking of sunshine and daylight, we're in the last day of standard time for at least another 8 months or so. So once again, we've been telling you before, we'll tell you one more time, make sure you set your clocks ahead an hour when you go to bed tonight. We're going to go to daylight saving time tomorrow through early November. Taking a live look outside on our Stockman Bank campus. Temperatures were more spring-like today, had a low of 34 and a high of 61 degrees in the Billings area. Today's sunrise and sunsets can be a lot different tomorrow. We'll have a sunrise tomorrow of 7:35 and a sunset of 7:14. Our 7-day forecast with other changes coming in just a few minutes.
A fatal car crash south of Livingston has left 2 children without their parents and 2 dogs without a home. MTN's Jolie Salee tells us more about this tragedy and how you can help.
This is Dozer and Lightning, 2 dogs in need of a new home after tragically losing their owner in a head-on collision near Highway 89.
Come on, Doze! Good boy!
On March 27th, Catherine White from Emigrant was killed in a head-on collision several miles south of Livingston. To worsen the tragedy, her husband was killed in a car accident the year before. She leaves behind her 2 children and her 2 fur babies, Dozer and Lightning, who were surrendered to the Stafford Animal Shelter.
Every day is kind of an emotional roller coaster here because you're never sure what is to kind of walk in the door next.
Stafford's executive director, Lauren Smith, says it's always heartbreaking to take in a displaced animal, especially with an unforeseen circumstance like this. But Smith says it's always a good idea to have a plan in place for your pet if something were to happen.
We are always here with open arms to take care of their pets. It's not something that we always think about.
Having your pet in your will.
A lot of people also gift and name our organization in their will or trust.
Until this gentle giant and this ball of energy find their next loving home, Smith says they're under the best care.
Our heart definitely goes out to the children and extended family. We'll be able to pour our love and attention into both of them until they can kind of continue on in their next chapter and find a home.
If you are looking for any more information on Dozer and Lightning, you can visit our website. In Livingston, Jolie Salee, MTN News.
The national finals for ski juring are taking place this weekend in Red Lodge. As our Marcus Kakova reports, races open today to hundreds of excited onlookers from all across the country.
Positively Montana is sponsored by Yellowstone Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's horses and ski. Doesn't get much better than that.
I suppose Houston is right.
That's all you really need to know to have your interest piqued in ski juring.
I just got invited by some friends to come watch the ski juring. I guess it's horses pulling people on skis.
That's a little more the idea. The incredibly Norwegian-sounding extreme winter sport is really just the act of sled racing led by an animal.
It's just a super fun sport where the skiers meet the horsemen that you'd probably never meet. We started it with dogs originally, pulling skiers, and then it changed to the horses.
The inevitable next question is, of course,
can you explain the rules to me?
I have no clue.
It's the fastest time in each event, and you got to hit. Well, the little kids don't. It doesn't matter if they hit the gates or not, but you have to hit the gates and the jumps. No faults, no wrecks, and then the fastest time wins.
More of a partnership than a random pairing. The relationship between skiers and riders makes this a sort of team sport.
It's hard to match up horses and riders, or horses and pullers, or skiers too, because you got to get just the right combination in order for it to make it a good team.
Pairings haven't always been so strategic, however.
Some places we would draw names out of a hat, and that would be your partner. Camaraderie is second to none. It's just that fun.
Marty Steffes says his time to skijor has come and gone. The rough and tumble, slip and slide makes this a young person's game.
Now I'm retired, so we brought a fire pit, and we got the pickups backed in and straw on the ground, and you gotta have right boots on because you'll drown if you don't.
But there's nothing sad about sitting on the sidelines.
We do a good old long list a week ahead of time. Make sure we got everything. It's almost like camping.
Marcus Kukova, MTN News.
Still to come on the MTN 530 News here on Q2. It's easy to spiral when it comes to credit card debt or fees, but a new rule could help alleviate that stress. Find out more after the break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
There's some good news for consumers who are carrying some credit card debt. The Biden administration has announced a new rule to cap credit card late fees. National correspondent Vanessa Michiana has details.
The Biden administration's new rule will cap credit card late fees at $8. It's the latest White House effort to crack down on what it calls junk fees.
But we estimate banks are generating 5 times more in late fees than it costs to collect late payments.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau estimates banks make about $14 billion a year in credit card late fees, with the average fee at $32. Regulators estimate capping the fee at $8 would save consumers up to $10 billion a year.
Average household will save $220 a year for the 45 million people that pay late fees. So it's really going to help people who are struggling, including many people living paycheck to paycheck who are having trouble keeping up with their credit cards.
Fees can be like whack-a-mole. Sometimes one goes down and another one comes up.
Critics say there could be downsides to lowering the fee, like higher interest rates, lower credit lines, or less access to credit cards in general.
When it comes to late fees, I really think the best way to avoid it is to pay on time, or if it's an occasional mix-up, there's a good chance you can plead your case to the card company and they'll take that fee off.
Consumers who are habitually 30 days or more late paying their credit card bills face damaging their credit scores.
Nobody wants to be late in making their payments, but they have other, pressing things like rents and groceries to pay for. So if people are occasionally late, they shouldn't get clobbered by a fee of, $41 or $32.
A win for consumers, but with some cautions. Vanessa Michiana, Scripps News.
The MTN 530 News continues right after this.